Have you gotten to the point of quarantine where you've watched everything on Netflix and sitting in front of the TV is just not appealing anymore? Do you remember back to the days when you read all the time? Your nose was stuck in a book, as they would say. But now, adult life has gotten in the way, and you just can't seem to find the time to pick up a book. Well, you've come to the right place, because I am going to teach you how to read more. Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Brianna. This is Coffee, Books, and Bullet Journals. Today I'm going to be teaching you some ways that you can implement into your life in order to read more, pick up more books, maybe hit that goodreads goal that you have been shooting for. Now, booktubers and book bloggers, book reviewers, they have huge lofty goals. I read 136 books in 2019. I read 102, I think, in 2018, and I'm well on track to hit over 100 this year. So I have a little bit of experience in how to read a lot of books in a month, in a year. I usually average about 6 to 8 in a month, with some months being over 10. And you know what? I'm not even in the top tier. There are people that have already read 200 or 300 books in a year, and more power to them. I don't know how they do it. I'm doing good, sitting at about 75 right now. But I do want to talk about some of the ways that I've gotten to that, some of the ways that I meet and exceed my Goodreads goal every single year, and hopefully you guys can use some of these tips and tricks to maybe step up your quarantine goal and pick up some more books. There will be several apps that I talk about in this video. I am not sponsored by anybody. A lot of these are simply like things from your library, but I do highly recommend all of these apps and tools and things that you can use to improve your reading. This is not going to be a video on how to increase your reading speed. There are tons of videos for that, but this one, I don't have the answer to that. I'm not a quick reader. It's just that I have focused my time and energy into something that I am passionate about. We all have the same amount of hours in the day. It's just a matter of how we use them and if we're using them productively and efficiently. The first thing I want to talk about is using your time wisely. So I use the Forest app, and I absolutely love this. So this is an app that you can put on your phone or your iPad or whatever, and you set a timer for 15 minutes up to, I think it's like an hour, and then you don't touch your phone. Because if you do, your tree dies. And you cannot get the tree out of your garden. And I am a perfectionist, and I need my garden to look pretty, or my forest to look pretty, and I don't want any dead trees in it. So I use this. I usually set it for about a 20 to 25 minute timer, and then I use that focus time to read. My biggest thing is I get distracted when I'm physically reading, and so I'll read a few pages, and then I pick up my phone and see what's going on Twitter, or I start watching a couple of TikTok videos, which turns into a couple of hours of TikTok videos, let's be 100% honest. Or, I start playing the game on my phone. And so the Forest app allows or disallows me, makes it so that I can't do that for that 20 to 25 minute time span that I want to be reading. The second thing is to just be very efficient with the time, and that means that you're kind of multitasking, I guess. I am a very big proponent of audiobooks. I definitely utilize them. And so this tip may not work for you if audiobooks don't work for you. I know that there is a large portion of people that read that just can't do audiobooks, and I totally get that. But if you are not one of those people, if you rely on audiobooks, consider using the time that you spend doing your makeup in the morning, fixing breakfast, cooking dinner at night, doing the dishes, cleaning your house, driving, any of those type of things. Use audiobooks. Instead of listening to the radio or music or, whatever. Obviously, you don't have to do 100% of the time. I'm not saying, don't ever listen to music. I don't, because I just don't usually like music. Like, it's a very rare time where I want to do that. But instead of watching a YouTube video or something like that, use the time to listen to your audiobook. I promise you, you will get so much more reading done. There are a ton of different applications and apps that you can use to get audiobooks. Obviously, Audible is the kind of most popular one, the one that most people know about, but there are so many more that are probably like 100 times better. Audible is about $15 a month, and you get 1 credit every month. So that means 1 audiobook. For me, that's not enough because I have a lot of driving. I spend a lot of time in my car, and so I listen to audiobooks constantly. I will finish probably 3 or 4 a week on a good week. So it's definitely that 1 a month does not cut it. So there are some other options for you. So from your library, you have Libby and Overdrive. Those are connected directly to your library, and most libraries that I have found utilize these. Of course, not all of them. There will be some out there, but a lot of them do. And you're able to request and borrow audiobooks and ebooks from this app, and you get them directly sent to your Kindle or your phone or your iPad, whatever electronic device that you use. And there's not really a limit to that. I think some libraries put limits on your holds, but it's just like a typical library, like just like you would from your library. The other app that a lot of libraries use or that they subscribe to is Hoopla. And this one is kind of different in the fact that it's not directly tied to your library. It's just that your library, like you can use your library card to access Hoopla's library. This one, every month you get X amount of borrows. So the libraries that I use, they give me 8 a month. The one I used to use, there was 5 a month, and I know that some are like up to 10 and 12 a month. It just kind of depends on what level your library subscribes to. So definitely check that one out. That one's also really good because they have comics and graphic novels, and so you can read a graphic novel on your, I do it on my iPad, but I used to do it on my phone as well. Graphic novels are really expensive for the amount of time you're putting into said book. So I utilize Hoopla all the time for graphic novels. It's a great way to kind of bump up your reading because they're quick to read. So that's a whole nother conversation. But also they're free there. So you don't pay anything and you kind of feel like you're getting a better value. I hate purchasing graphic novels because of how expensive they are, and you usually only read it for like an hour or 2. So it's just not like worth it for me. I'd rather spend the money on a physical book. So I utilize it a lot for graphic novels and comics, but like I said, they also have a ton of audiobooks on there as well. Then we move into the apps the audiobook apps that you can pay for. So like I said, there is Audible. That's the most popular one. There also is Scribd, which is $9.99, and you get unlimited audiobooks. Now, I use the air quotes because it definitely is not completely unlimited. The more popular, newer releases, they will put a hold on if too many people are requesting them. And that is only because they only give a certain amount of copies each month to people, and so they have to wait until your next billing cycle. Generally, if you are getting newer releases, it tends to be 3 to 4 a month. And of course, that number varies. If you're doing a lot of the older releases that aren't necessarily as popular, you might get a lot more. So that's $9.99 a month. I subscribe to that. I will have a link down in the description below. That's not an affiliate link, but it helps me out. I get a month for free and you get an extra month for free. So you can try it out for 30 days risk-free, and if you don't like it, then there's no pressure. The last one is a new one that's kind of come onto the scene, and I haven't tried this one specifically, but that is librofm, and it is an app that is the same price as Amazon and the same kind of setup as Audible, but the difference is your money is not going to Amazon. It is going to independent bookstores, the bookstore of your choosing. So you can decide where you want your money to go, which is probably cooler than Audible, let's be honest. The only reason I haven't switched over is because I still do have credits on Amazon and I don't want to lose them. because I've paid for them and I just keep forgetting to unsubscribe. An app that is really prevalent in the book community, or a website that is really prevalent, is Goodreads. I feel like everyone kind of talks about it and knows about it, but if you don't, I'm going to kind of talk about it a little bit. This is a app that, or it's a website. There's an app. The app's not user-friendly, but that's besides the point. And this is a huge library collection of book data. Now, it doesn't actually have the books on it. However, it is linked to Amazon and maybe Barnes & Noble, so you can purchase books from there. But this is just a way to kind of record what you're reading. You can also look at reviews and other things like that. So if you're not enjoying a book, I do this all the time. I look at the reviews, and if other people are not enjoying it for the same reasons that I'm not, I'll put the book down and read a different one, because ain't nobody got time for a bad book. Let's be honest. There's also a Goodreads challenge where you can set the number of books at the beginning of the year, and it will kind of calculate and track how many books that you've read throughout the year. There is a way to categorize it from want to read, currently reading, and read. When you're currently reading a book, you can update your progress and you say, I'm on page 102. And it just feels like the sense of accomplishment. And also you have friends on this app or on this website. And so people can track your progress. And so there's that extra level of accountability. It'll say 15 books above or ahead of schedule or something like that. And that's really exciting to see in a weird competitive way. I don't know. Like I said, I'm very competitive and a perfectionist, so I like to see these things. And then my last tip, again, it may not work for everybody, but I read more than one book at a time. Now, I do make sure that they are different genres. So I might read a fantasy on audiobook and then a contemporary romance in physical form. I can't merge the two because then I get really confused, but I do try to kind of separate that as much as possible. But obviously there are times that I want to sit down and physically read, and then there are times that I want to, just listen to an audiobook and play on my phone, or, while I'm driving, I'm obviously not going to be physically reading anything, but I want to make my time productive, so I will listen to an audiobook. Now, you can take that tip and do it with one single book, and so you would physically read, when you want to be in the mood, and you're in the mood for physically reading, and then just jump to the chapter that you've ended on. The problem with that for me is that I have to remember what chapter I ended on, and it's just too confusing, so I just read 2 books at a time. I also sometimes have been known to have 3 going, one of them being an ebook, because you never know when you're going to be standing in line somewhere, at the grocery store, the bank, whatever. With COVID, there's a lot more lines because people are having to stand farther apart and all that fun stuff. So I will, pull my phone out and have an ebook on my Kindle app. So I hope that those tips kind of helped you out, and maybe you'll be able to implement them into your life, and maybe you'll be able to read more if that is your goal for the year. Even though COVID happened in the middle of 2020, a lot of people's New Year's resolutions were to read more. And if you're still trying to hit those goals that you set back in January before the world changed, hopefully this will help you. If you are already an avid reader, put down in the comments what is your number 1 tip or trick that you use to read more books, and maybe there's something different that I didn't say that will help you guys, so read those comments below. And if you are new here and you have not yet subscribed, there is a little red button that you can do so down below the video, and all of the other links to my social media will be in the description below if you would like to be my friend on any other platform. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye! Makes this heart beat faster.